Good morning, Kidzone. Mrs. Randy here. Before we start the story this morning, I wanted to do a little history lesson, or allow me to, as Pastor Jason says in his sermons, to geek out for a moment. We are going to be learning about the Roman Centurion today and the story of Jesus and the Roman Centurion and the disciples. And what I find really awesome about this is that it really places Jesus in history. And sometimes we can forget that he was a part of our history. So here is a picture of what a Roman centurion would look like. Well, maybe not quite like this. He wouldn't have walked up to the disciples like this with Jesus, but this is what they would have looked like. And this is a very familiar image, right? We've all seen the Roman centurion. And it reminds us that Jesus spoke to people in history. He was there. He was with us. And I think that's really, really cool. The other thing I wanted to say is that this Roman centurion would have had a very complicated relationship with Jesus because the Roman government, who at the time the Caesar was Tiberius, when I say complicated relationship, I mean they didn't get along. The Jewish people and the Roman government did not get along. So for a Roman centurion to come speak to Jesus would have been lowering himself and would have been looked down upon, and probably would have made him really uncomfortable. And that's what is really, really cool when you listen to Pastor Jason tell this story. You really see how humbled he was. And I think that's really, really cool. So that's my finished geek out moment, I guess you could call it. But really, yeah, guys, enjoy the story with Pastor Jason. And remember, at the end again, there's going to be some questions for us to sit and reflect on together. Okay, thanks. Here comes the story.
Hey friends, Pastor Jason here with another Jesus story. This one is called Jesus and the Roman Official. Well, one day Jesus was walking with his disciples and they were entering into a town called Capernaum. This was a pretty special town. It was a place where there was a lot of fishermen, and also there was a really special road that went through the town, a road that linked up a lot of different cities. So when you went through there, you'd see people from all over the place, and you'd see a lot of Roman soldiers. Well, this made Jesus' disciples nervous because they didn't really trust Roman soldiers. They were there to protect, but they were also there to punish, and you didn't want to get on their bad side. So the last thing that they wanted to do was cause any trouble or get noticed by any of the soldiers. Well, what happens when they first enter the village is a Roman soldier comes and approaches Jesus. The disciples, I'm sure, were scared to death. But when they saw the Roman soldier and looked at his face, he wasn't angry. He wasn't acting all tough and macho. No, actually, he was scared and he was sad. He came to Jesus and you know what he said? He said, Jesus, I need your help. I know that you can help people like me. I have a servant at home who I care a lot about who's sick right now. He might die. And Jesus, I need you to heal him. Well, Jesus said to him, what would you like me to do? He said, please say the word and heal my servant. Well, Jesus said, okay, let's take me to your home and I'll come and I will heal your servant. Well, the man said, no, you know what, Jesus? I'm not worthy of that. I'm not worthy of you coming into my home, but I kind of have an idea of how things work for you. I know that you have great power and you say the word and things happen. I myself am a man of authority. I am a Roman official. So there's a lot of people who do what I tell them to do. I tell this person, go and do that, and they go do it. I tell that person, go and do that. They go do it. If I want someone to shine my boots, they'll shine my boots. If I want someone to cook me a nice lunch, they'll cook me a nice lunch. Oh, sorry, I'm getting away from myself. You get what I mean, Jesus. I know that if you say the word that my servant is healed, he'll be healed. You can do it from here. You don't have to come with me. This surprised Jesus. This made Jesus feel happy and kind of sad. He was extremely happy that this man was showing so much faith. But you know why he was sad? This was the first time he had seen this much trust placed in him. This was the first time he'd seen someone who got it, who got who he was, that he was God's own son come to save people. And he said to his disciples, he looked at them and said, I haven't seen this much faith before. I haven't seen this much faith in any of you, and I haven't seen this much faith in any of our people who should know better, our people who should know who I am. I tell you the truth, there's going to be a day when there's a big feast, a feast for God's kingdom, a feast in God's kingdom, and those who will be there will be like this man. But I'm sad to say that some of our very own people won't be there because they don't have this kind of faith. They don't trust me. So that was something that really surprised the disciples. Well, back to the Roman centurion, the Roman official. He went home. He trusted Jesus. He walked home. And once he got to his home, can you guess what happened? His servant was perfectly fine again. He was healthy. He was cured. Well, the Roman official was just ecstatic. Everyone in the home was excited. They were praising God. And the Roman official said, okay, wait a minute, guys. Please tell me, when was this man healed? Well, they said, you know what? It was just around lunchtime, just about 11 o'clock. And the Roman centurion couldn't believe it. He said, that's exactly the time when Jesus said he would be healed. Well, what a day. And I'll tell you, Jesus' disciples learned something extremely valuable that day, especially about Jesus. Jesus was more powerful than they could imagine. And they said to themselves, oh my goodness, who is this man that he can just say the word and someone is healed? And I'll tell you, that was a day that they would never forget. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. God bless. Bye.
Well, guys, what a story. And we learned a lot about faith in this story from the very unlikely character of the Roman centurion, who seemed to have a lot of faith. So the first question is, what did the disciples learn about faith from this Roman centurion? And I think that's a really important question for us to ponder from this story, I should say. And question number two, what's another example of a miracle that Jesus has performed? Now, you guys can draw this, you can talk about it with your parents, but I think we learn a lot from these Jesus stories through his miracles. And what is another lesson, or what is something else we have learned from a miracle that Jesus has performed? And hint, hint, we learned about a miracle last week in our Jesus story also. Okay, and question number three, have you, a friend, or a family member experience a miracle? And how did that miracle make you feel? Because that's what was really cool about this story, that not only the Roman centurions experienced the miracle, but the entire family and his household and community experienced this miracle also. And how did that affect the community and affect his family? That's a pretty cool, another cool thing to ponder about how Jesus works, how it's normally not just at the individual level, but a community and family level where it's his good news and overall awesomeness kind of spreads around, well, eventually around all of Rome. So thanks, guys, again. Love to hear from you. So please send messages or emails or anything you want to connect with us. We love it. And until next week, have a great and again safe week, and we love you guys. Okay, bye.